What's going on, guys? How am I coming through? Loud and clear? Hopefully everything good. Sounds good. Game's not too loud right now. I'm actually super excited to start this game. So I'm gonna finish up everything that I need to do before the stream, and then I'll switch over camera and we'll get rolling with Tiny Bunny. I heard good things about this game, and it even has like an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam, which is weird. There's a typo in the game category. Probably. Is that on the stream title or in the game category? Oh, shut up. I know what you're gonna do. I know what you're doing. Shut up. Don't do it. Don't. I knew it. I did the last second, but I knew it. Oh my god. Good question. I don't. I'm actually coming in clear. Hold on one second. Let me just go ahead and might as well just go ahead and switch. So let's go to full cam. Hello. Whoop. Yeah, so all I know about Tiny Bunny is that it is closer to the games that I used to play when I started streaming. In other words, like, you remember, I don't know if you were around, but I think Rustray remembered. Rustray for sure remembers. So remember Little Misfortune and Frambo and Sally Face, all those games. I love those style of games because they always leave you with this long lasting yeah, that bad game. It wasn't bad. It was not. Well, which one was the one you're saying was bad? Because I don't think any of those games were bad. I think they were different. Little Misfortune was no, Misfortune was not bad. Misfortune was interesting for the majority of the game. Anyway, story horror story games, and I think this is just more of that category. And I was interested because it's got the I believe you owed me this stream yesterday. No, I owed you the stream today, I guess. Why yesterday? And why do I owe you a stream? What did I do? I heard a song today on a Starbucks ad somewhere, and I had to oblige. So that's what I said. I have enough games to do this for 2 months. Enough horror games to do this for 2 months. So we'll be all right. But yeah. we'll get through that. We'll get through the slog. That is my back catalog. If you want, after the stream, I can show you the very rough draft of the vid for your thoughts. After the stream, I'm always like wiped. So I am better. And if this doesn't, I don't know how long this game is. So I heard it yesterday. Oh yeah. Well, this is it. I only heard it once. That's what it was. I only heard it once. I've only heard it once, and now you're getting it. So you got the stream today. Don't. That's kind of tricky though. That's not very nice. Anyway, stop sending me TikToks. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Rustra, you can send the video if you want. And hopefully I won't be too wiped after, and we'll watch it. But I don't know how long this game is. So, yeah, I think we should probably get started. What do you guys think? Do we just get started on this? Let's roll. Let's roll the tape. Also, don't have it exported. Was going to stream it. What do you mean stream it? Like, did you want me to put your stream on? Or on Discord? I do like TikToks. I don't like TikToks that trick me. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, let's see where we're at tonight. All right. If this ends in like a couple of hours, I don't think it's gonna be longer than like 2 or 3 hours. So if that's the case, then we'll do it there. But we should get rolling anyway. So we should do that now. Oh my god. It's been a day. So I just want to sit down, and hopefully this game is gonna take all of our breath away So let's just get going. By the way, I still have a little bit of that cold, so if you hear me like clear my throat and stuff, I apologize in advance. It may be gross, so I'm sorry. But let's go. Tiny Bunny. Hopefully, a very good horror game. So let's see. Yeah, let's just do new game. All right, I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit more, but if it's too loud, guys, just go ahead and holler and let me know, and I'll turn it down. But I do think it should be at least halfway up. So, all right, new game. And I'm gonna turn my lights off too, just a little bit. Just a little bit. The wind clawed at my window all night long. Okay? It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twinned in the air. Or twined in the air. Apologies. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house has a mind of its own. The creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes. Rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. Hey, Pizza. Hi, welcome to the stream. Oh, no worries. I'm sorry it took me so long too, because I know you probably sent that message like really early today, and I just never got a chance to watch it. So I'll look at it in a second. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Is that a fox? That was a fox, wasn't it? The Owl Will Arrive. Episode 1. I love the art style of this game. Hey, put away your book. Oh, can we change the... does it have English subtitles? I don't think it does, so I'm gonna have to read them. Oh, that sucks. Well, sorry guys. I'm just gonna have to read this. Oh, you've seen the game? Awesome. What's up, Preston? Welcome to the stream. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Hide. All right, we'll hide it. I didn't protest, and I put the book away about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olia had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked Hey, Ace, Wii Sports. This game seems pog. It's got like an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam, and I love the art style to begin with, and it's like right up my alley. So sit down, stay a while, and let's see how good it is. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show. Oh, Cousteau. That's what it was. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the Black Forest is at night. Oh, the spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. Huh, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointing when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scowl me for a week if I did something similar, though. Preston, you've played this game? If so, that's actually kind of a good thing. Ace is getting some popcorn. Excellent. Oh man, I should have gotten some. Oh, I should have gotten some wine. I would have loved some wine. Okay, next time. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? What is it with this kid in the forest? I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing at you. Or sniffing you out, sorry. Trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sword, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. Just turning up the volume a little bit. Hey, Very Melon. Same, I've only watched someone play it. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. I plan on buying it once it's finished. Oh, Preston, maybe you don't want to watch this then. Or oh no, but you said you already watched it. Oh, the game is not finished. Interesting. Oh, we're gonna be left with a cliffhanger. Ugh. I don't know how I feel about that. Hopefully a good cliffhanger though. If you're a good sword, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. Jesus Christ. And that would be it. Grandma was caring and scary. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a basket. Bought a casket. God damn it. Ruster, you are distracting me. I am going to allow that for now. Release in 2023. I'm okay with that. I can wait. As long as they like, is it episodic? Like, okay, give me an episode now. Give me one in 2022, and then it'll be done in 2023. That's fine. I'm okay with that. She had so Grandma bought a casket for her own funeral. Okay, and she called it her cute funeral box. That's interesting. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors, they all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olia was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze towards the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Looks like a fox. Olia, look, it's a fox. Where? It looked almost like those optical illusions thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit, look under a certain angle. Not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose. And here's... Hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. There it is, but it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you, it does. Ня-а. That's cute. It does. Yo, she's like way too short triggered for being the mom. Stop it. These kids, I swear. Shakes fist. Now I couldn't see the fox either. Oh, I can't see it. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen. I missed that. I missed that sound. That's actually from Middle of Misfortune. Very Villain, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Stay around, stick around. Let's see how deep the bunny rabbit hole goes. Ace. Also, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Russian Gusher. I love that name. Russian Gusher, thank you for the follow as well. Oh, actually, they have added more to the game than I last watched, so I'm a dip. Okay, bye, Preston. Bye, Preston. Have fun. Or don't, loser. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Yeah, he's got a wicked beard, too. I wish I had his hair, too. My mom would always ask, jokingly, come on, shave it off. It stings. This was so long ago. Oh, maybe that's why the mom is such like a short triggered person, because they're having trouble. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olia always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Get it? D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. Hey, you said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did. Maybe not. That is passive aggressive. You're a grown man. A father of two. And still... Karina, please stop.
Дай мне спокойно собраться.
Just let me get ready in peace.
В корзине твои ключи, возле телефона.
Your keys are in the basket near the phone.
Огромное тебе человеческое
Well.
спасибо.
Thank you very much.
Антон, ешь быстрее, а то как мученик сидишь.
Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already.
А сова?
But the owl.
Не было там никакой совы.
There was no owl.
Была!
But there was one.
Глазюки огромные.
It had giant glowing eyes.
Светятся.
Yeah, the dad is like a dick. Like, why would he not indulge the little one? Olia sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each.
В прошлом году бабай в шкафу. Сейчас сова?
Interesting. Last year you had Babai in your closet, and now this owl? Babai. Is that like the Baba Yaga? Babai must be like, I'm guessing like a boogeyman?
Я же
But
видела.
I saw it. Stellar, welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. How you doing, man? Come on in, relax, sit down, have a beer. Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from dad to mom to me, but couldn't find any support.
А ты не думала подружиться с ним?
Have you thought about befriending it? I'm doing great, man. Thank you. Doing much better now, actually. I had a pretty bad cold that I'm just recovering from. Thank you for asking. They're speaking Russian, I think, and could be slang for it. So bye-bye, or was it bye-bye? Yeah, I have a feeling that's referring to like the boogeyman or something like that. That makes sense too.
Вымышленными.
You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice.
Не подначивай ребенка.
Don't bully our girl.
Просто мала еще.
She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Yeah, Dad, you dick. Oh, she's gone. Olia pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Oh shit, she mad. Mom gave Dad a strict look. That's not a strict look. That's like a, you're gonna pay for that later look. I've seen that look before. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he'd just found. Yeah, thanks to her. Man, I'm telling you, Dad, I have a feeling that Dad's going to be like one of the bad influences here. Also makes sense in context. She's not finishing her food. Could be a common trend. She does so. Makes sense. They bring up that story. Yeah. She was also talking about an owl, right? So like the dad was saying like for now, the owl now, and then before was the babai and stuff like that. So it makes sense in context. Killer look. You mean like the game? The game does look insanely good. I love this art style. Probably a foreshadow of her being taken off somewhere based on the story. Maybe. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. So what's the deal? Why does everyone like... It sounds like everyone hates the kid, like the boy. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved into this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under the blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Ooh. And then Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside these holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat, black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of a monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton is not around. Anton is not around." I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? It's so funny how the younger you are, the simpler things appear to be so heavy, like a pair of glasses. And as you grow up, it just kind of like completely vanishes, and then you realize the scope of problems that adults have. I don't know, it's funny to see this as an adult and be like, oh my god, I wish that was all of my troubles. You know what I mean? My dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill. Mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. I love that sound. You guys hear that? It's like a creaking outside. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. Ooh. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone's playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Oof. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these clearly were not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. For kids, it matters. It's just as you said, though, people have more on their plate and learn and become better. Glasses become understandable to people that never needed to use them. That's true. As they grow up. That's a good, that's understandable too. I like those images. The style is pretty on point. It helps. It just transfers so much of the actual sentiment. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh shit. Suns out, guns out, reading with creams. What's up, Scampy? Welcome to the stream, man. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadows of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. Hey, Lucen, welcome to the stream. This game looks so pretty. It absolutely looks insanely good. Yeah, I love it. And I was just saying, actually, it helps transfer the feeling of the game itself. Like the theme so well. They did a phenomenal job here. Also, stick around, stay, welcome. And, yeah, let me know if you need anything. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move, scrape around, looking for an entrance. That did actually look like a werewolf, though. Well, I mean, let me know if you want to talk about anything in the game and stuff like that. I mean, there's only so much I can do without actually visiting the person, right? So, let me know if you need anything with the game. Send me $50. Give me your PayPal info. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to stop. It's funny how you're so used to it's like when someone is like, hey, here's your food. It's like, have a good meal. And then you look at them and it's like, hey, you too. Like, to the waiter. That's not like, oh God, Jesus. It's just kind of like a thing that people do. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. The SM7, the SM7, be sure, it sounds great for reading. Yeah, it is, and it has a little bit of modulation. I'm using an interface for it, so I added a little bit more pitch. Not pitch, sorry. I kind of like added a little bit more bass to it, so it's a little bit more powerful that way. I need the 3 numbers on the back of your credit card. Oh, sure. We'll finish the stream. We'll see where we're at with that. AZ Sports. That's a mic I just got. Oh, it's so good, man. You just make sure. Okay. Quick note. Make sure you pair it with a decent interface that allows for a lot of phantom power, because the mic itself requires a lot of power. I got a Go XLR and it lifts it pretty good. But if you don't have a Go XLR, then you use something like a cloud lifter, and that will get you enough power for it to actually boom. Because otherwise, you're gonna need something for it to actually sound good. Just FYI. That's one of the things that I did when I was researching the mic. That's one of the things that I found. Oh, the Scarlet Focuser. Okay, perfect. You're good. That should have plenty of phantom power for it. Okay, bread rolls and gravy, welcome to the stream. Guys, get out of my dad's stream. Hello, kiddo. No, I like it. Ew, I don't like the emojis. I got the scary. Oh yeah, so you got the Scarlet. Russian Gusher. Cool. All right, let's get going. How about everybody just sit down, watch the stream, have fun, Don't get too scared. Keep me company because I will get scared eventually. So there's a noise outside the house. Something's happening. We were seen by one of those creatures, and I think the creature is now circling around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door, knocking. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remember the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. Ew! Why? I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Ugh. Does this sound like there's a scene in Hereditary that's just like that with the ants. Ugh. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words.
На острове Буяне, в синем океане, стоит домовина, в ней сало и глина, волосы седые, чертям еда, раба Божьего Антона не тронут никогда.
On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood.
Бесы запутают дорогу к дому.
Evil, leave this house must.
Мертвый к мертвому, живой к живому.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone.
Мертвое к мертвому,
Ashes to ashes,
живое к живому.
dust to dust. I eat snacks in a blanket. Well, get used to this now. Hopefully nobody's trying to stalk you in your house. Russian aggression. What do you mean? What do you mean with what? Snacks and blankets, cozy, cool. Bread rolls and gravy says good, cozy. Okay. Bread rolls. I was gonna say this may actually be a good stream for you because this is a very story heavy writing exercise sort of type of game, so you may enjoy this one. But it does, fair warning for everybody, it does have a fair amount of violence, both physical and psychological, so take it for what it is. It's a game, it's a story. It's an interesting one though so far. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the midnight of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked open. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivore's mouth of a doorway. Toonie? It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. Oh, Tony. Duh. Nobody's allowed to clip that. That completely stole the mood. I'm so sorry. All right. Thanks, Stellar. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me,
Ты спишь, Тоша?
Tosha, you asleep? Is that the sister? Oh my god. My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief.
Оля?
Оля.
Я не сплю.
I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olia frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry.
Оно опять прилетело и пялится на меня.
It's there again, staring at me.
Прогони ее, Тоша. Прогони, пожалуйста.
Shoo her away, Tosha, please.
Я так боюсь.
I'm so scared. It's always the siblings. I have stories that I'm not about to share on stream. Oh, thanks, Stellar. Jesus Christ. Is it tonight? Thanks. I appreciate that. God damn it. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olia down.
Это был сон, глупая. Не пугайся. Сны не кусаются. Никто тебя не обидит.
It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself?
У меня есть идея.
I have an idea.
Пойдем к тебе в комнату, видик посмотрим. Спящую красавицу, например.
Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example.
Тебе же нравится этот мультик?
You like that cartoon, don't you?
Почему у спящей красавицы
Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince
птица?
and I have this scary bird? Oh, that question took me by surprise.
Ладно, давай посмотрим Золушку.
All right, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fussy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair.
Тоша, ты идешь?
Tosha, you coming?
Да, сейчас.
Da, just a moment. Oh, whoa! Oh. Okay. I was gonna say, well, did that actually just happen? Whew. Man, I don't think I would have been able to contain myself. Holy shit. That's why I don't want to laugh at Olia and her owl in the morning. Fair. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Ooh. Tosha, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged him toward the hallway. Oh, uh-oh. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smell like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused.
Здравствуйте.
Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded.
Тут мальчик вчера потерялся. Вовой зовут.
A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova.
Глянь, пожалуйста. Ты его
Look
не
at this
видел?
place. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. It was not the dad, it was the cops apparently. Spook. Legit tap back in after homework when the jump scare happened, but thankfully guard was up. Don't do well with jump scares. Yeah, that was interesting too. It was well done though. It was really well done. I was looking away, so I only heard the sound, but I was not prepared. Sorry, but it does seem. I will say one thing so far. It seems like the scares are actually well crafted because they give you enough context behind everything that's about to happen. It's not just like oh shit, someone opened the door and then something jumped at you. They're well explained and they're not telegraphed, which is important for a jump scare. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile.
Нет.
No, I haven't.
Точно? Посмотри внимательнее.
Are you sure? Look closely.
Где мне его видеть? Я тут никого не знаю. Да и из дома-то почти не выхожу.
Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house.
А может, видел в окно?
Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. Oh man, I wonder if the crap. I wonder if that's what he was looking at when he saw like the things dancing in the night. Maybe you've seen him from the window. I have a feeling that's what it
У
was.
тебя ведь окна на лес.
That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. See?
Нет,
Called
не
it.
видел.
Nope, I haven't seen anything.
Ясно.
I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, he stared long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason.
Вы, кстати, как на новом месте? Попривыкли уже?
How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it?
Понемногу. Только вот дочка маленькая по городу скучает.
Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot.
Скучает, значит. Из местных вас никто не беспокоит?
This is the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well?
Все хорошо, спасибо.
Yeah, everything is alright. Thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his green eyes. My head started to spin.
Может, вам помочь как-то?
Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner.
Я вот стою и думаю,
Now that I think about it,
ты, малец, на племеша моего похож.
you look just like one of my nephews, little fella.
Шустрый парнишка твоих лет. С такими же окулярами. Все книжками зачитывался. Детективами.
He's a witty boy, around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels.
Когда летом погостить приезжал, говорит, что в школу милиции мечтает поступить.
Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer.
Как я. Хотел людям помогать.
He
Смекаешь?
wanted to help other people, just like me, you see. I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. Yeah, what is it with this guy, man? He's weird.
Ох, ребята.
You know what?
Сидите-ка вы лучше дома.
Little boys like
Не
you
ввязывайтесь ни во что.
should stay at home.
Жизнь сейчас совсем другая пошла.
Steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected with a cold voice.
Мне ли не знать?
You don't say.
Ну да ладно.
Well then.
Ты, Антон, в каком классе учишься?
What grade are you in, Anton?
В 6.
6th.
Друзей-то на новом месте еще не завел?
Have you made any friends so far?
Пока нет. Я только после каникул в школу пойду.
Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break.
Тогда вот вам на всякий случай мой номер. Звоните, если
Then
узнаете что.
I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. I'll take a moment. How about don't do jump scares in any game? I know this is a very minor opinion, but I wish it had disclaimers if they use jump scares, since I like horror games that don't use that cheap trick, even if they do it well. Okay. That's an interesting topic, but I don't think right now, I think it's too long to talk about it. But I disagree with your opinion, not because you're wrong, simply because when you do horror is a cycle, right? It's a pattern essentially. So it's a cycle of tension and release. I've talked about this before, but good horror has decent, properly patterned cycles of tension and release, and that tension can be achieved and released by a well done jump scare, and it's just another technique to actually engage with the viewer. So I think if used properly and if they're not overused, they always will have a good place in horror. I don't think I would ever like to see them go away from a good horror game. Every horror piece can use them effectively if they know how to use them. I do wish games had like EC access content warnings. That's fair, Lucen. That's actually totally fair. Personally, I played a game yesterday called The Mortuary Assistant. Not yesterday, sorry, 2 days ago. And there's a video on YouTube, by the way, on my channel if you guys want to watch that one. Super entertaining, really good, very scary game. All it does is jump scares, but they're entertaining and they're fun. And I think people watch horror because they want to have fun with the horror element. So, just can't handle jump scares. It makes my heart feel broken or weird. So I stayed away from horror games besides a few. Okay, that's absolutely fair. Horror is not for everyone. Jump scares are not for everyone. And that's one of the things that I've seen actually a lot on TikTok, for example. People are starting to put labels on jump scare videos that are like trigger warning, like jump scares or something like that. It's interesting, but I come from a generation where like part of the enjoyment that I get from actually watching and playing horror, that's part of it. Like I wouldn't have as much fun if I didn't have that. Hey Alindra, welcome to the stream. Who's Tony? Tony is a little boy that I just completely butchered his name, and Stellar was nice enough to capture it in a clip. It's not Tony, it's Toonai or Toonie. Anyway, welcome to the stream, Ali. Red Rolls and Gravy, have a good night. You can catch this tomorrow if you want. But yeah, have a good night. Hopefully you get decent sleep. And I will read the story later, I promise. All right, let's continue. So the policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wonder what it was like for him being all alone. There. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and trash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually?
Мам, а Вова этот в нашем лесу заблудился?
Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest?
Выходит, что так. Бедный ребенок.
Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police drove off toward the village. UAZ, I don't know what that is. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off all paint from the windowsill. I remember all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Oh, glossary. Interesting. What's this? Okay, bye-bye. Oh, okay, perfect. So we got all the terms. Bye-bye. In Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit, we were wondering what this was. A nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaved children. So it's a boogeyman, essentially. UAZ, a Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand which was produced by the Ulanovsk car factory. And Black Kitty, a series of contemporary Russian original or translated teen mystery books. Oh, very cool. I like that they do this. All right, Ace, have a wonderful night, man. Thank you for staying around for a little while. You can catch the replay, and I'm going to upload this to YouTube later. So if you're not following on YouTube, go check it out then after. But yeah, otherwise just come back to Twitch. You can catch the VOD later. But again, thank you for stopping by. Have a good night. All right. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. Later, they became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Oh, that's not gonna turn out good. That's no good. That's no bueno. Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Olia will be so happy. And not only Olia, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olia a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There was that annoying song about it. Song? Accountant, a song by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Kombination, that became wildly popular in the early 90s. So this is around the 90s. Very cool. If you're in a horror story, remember to always go on an adventure in the creepy woods. Super cliche, right? But as I don't know, I think a kid with this mentality and this around this time, they'd probably fantasize about it at least. Not act on it, but fantasize about it maybe. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, mom and dad barely had money to afford sweets, and dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. See, that's a sweet brother right there. I couldn't wait to go out, looking for clues.
Пойду погуляю.
I'm going outside.
Ага, сейчас.
Yeah, right.
Чтобы потом милиционеры с твоей фотографией по домам ходили.
You want the police to go around with your photograph next?
Лес вон какой густой.
The forest is so thick.
А если мальчика звери дикие утащили? Или
What
того
if the
хуже?
boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse, which is I think what happened. Even worse. Echoed through the hallway.
Да я рядом буду. В лес не пойду.
I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest.
Что я тебе сказала? Мне дважды повторять.
Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself?
Лучше портфель собери или соли поиграй.
Better go pack your school bag or play with Olia. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. To front yard, to kitchen, or open the under the stairs cellar. Oh, good options. Kind of want to open this. I want to open this, but I also want to go to the front yard. If I go to the front yard, though, my mom's going to whoop my ass. I guarantee it. Oh, I don't know which one's going to be better. Okay. I'm going out. I'm going out to the front yard. Oh, maybe not. Anton. What did I say? I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. She will too. Oh. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself or on the freshly sharpened axe. Chancla. Here comes the chancla boy. And Olia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Baba is living there. I try to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, bad stools, and scratched walls. But what scratched those walls is a good question. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olia's count outside. 1, 2, 3. Better hide from me. Isn't that the Freddy Krueger song? And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster den. We'll have more than the forest to fear if he goes out there. Typical. I wonder if there's something to the fact that it appears like Russian moms are very similar to Hispanic moms in that they are like super sweet, but there's always like an undercurrent of violence lying right underneath the surface of their temper. I grew up with that. Okay, so I don't need to go in there, although I would love to take that axe. Anton, get your ass out of the closet immediately. But I want that. Oh. I'm gonna try the yard again. Although she will whip me, I'm sure. I need to distract mom somehow or I'll get scolded and my ass whipped with dad's leather belt. Okay, the kitchen. Lie to mom, open, turn back. I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna go. Have a good night. Thank you, Vermelon. You as well. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the follow. Hopefully you have a good night. Duality of nurture and destruction. Yeah, it's weird. I guess love hurts. Okay, I'm gonna lie to her. Or maybe I can hold on. Maybe I can distract her somehow. Oh. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. Pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. What's pelmeni? A Russian variety of dumplings made by boiling thin, unleavened dough filled with mincemeat. One may even call it Russian fast food. Interesting. I am learning lots about Russian culture. Okay, cool. Turn back, I guess. So, lie to mom. It was difficult to lie to mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. You're killing me here. So, have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? I told you the kinescope would go dim because of your console. Oh, she's talking about the the NES duck hunting. That's cute. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings. Please go see for yourself. That's strange. It worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands, cleaned her apron, and went on to Olia's room. Oh shit, it's a chance. Go! Turn back. front yard. Oh, we're out. Oh, we're out. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Man, we are going to get whooped. Oh, my God. If she's half as deadly as Hispanic mothers with chanclas, it doesn't matter how far we go. She's going to snipe us with something. I opened the front gate and went out into the field, carefully so my mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remember my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows, crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. You best hope the monster gets you, because if my mom does, ooh, it's gonna be way worse. I'm just such a fan of this art here. Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time mom and dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together. Almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olia present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? What? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. Where? What? What the fuck? The KGB. Interesting. Okay. Oh. So that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I'm gonna move my camera. Hold on a second. There we go. Better. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Nubby tree roots slither under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the eyes. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Is that a mitten? Is that the mitten from The Lost Boy? Range! What's up, man? Book novel game. Sleepy ASMR. Welcome to the stream, first of all, brother. And second of all, it's a horror game. It's called Tiny Bunny. And it's so far a very interesting story. Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. That is the mitten. I try to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. What is The Streets of Broken Lights? Oh, we'll check it later. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. In the long, long, deep forest off. Yeah, it's kind of like a fairy tale, but a very messed up one. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova. I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova. As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova resounded closer to me. I'll turn it up a little bit. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. I don't see anything. There's a lot of subliminal messages hidden in these images sometimes. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped his wings loudly. Oh shit. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. That was well played. I looked to wait for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Take it. Take it. I'm gonna take it. We're gonna take the mitten. We're taking the mitten. We're gonna take it to the police. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Ooh. Ooh. Bad idea. Vova. Yo, get the fuck out of there. Yo. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Blood? Yeah. Oh no. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming in from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from the twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, hurry, run. Don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. It continued to drown. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boot slipped off. The hole in my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tipped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave away. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out from the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door?
Я случайно.
I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left in my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition. My wet pants, plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me, I thought. It is Russian indeed. Yeah, привет. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand.
Гляди, вон же они. Прямо у
Look.
забора.
Over there at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Just dogs. Dogs. Just a small pack of stray with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest.
Божечки.
Oh boy. Were you scared of them?
Сами тебя перепугаются, Антон.
I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton.
Они гнались за мной,
They
словно
were
за зайцем.
chasing me like a bunny.
А вдруг они бешеные?
And what if they're rabid? Well, yeah, dumbass, she told you not to go outside. And yet, there you go. Well, I pushed him out. But still. The smile had slowly disappeared from my mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them.
Что если они нападут на Олю?
What if they attack Olia?
Мам,
Mom?
Вот бы твой отец их всех перестрелял.
I wish your dad could just shoot them all.
мама, они живые.
Mom, look, they're alive.
А что?
What?
Ты уж определись? Они тебе друзья или враги?
Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind.
Не маленький ведь уже.
You're not a little kid anymore. Whoa, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? A mitten. Of course! A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom.
Мам, смотри, это
Mom,
Вовина варежка.
look this, it's Vova's mitten.
Ну того, про которого
That
вы
boy the
полиция
police were
спрашивала.
asking about in the morning.
Она вся в крови, на дереве висела. Вон там, могу показать.
It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where.
Давай в милицию скорее позвоним, как нас участковый просил.
Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to.
Мам, гляди.
Mom, look.
Фу.
Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept into my mom's contorted face. As if she was trying to remember something distant, something like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away.
А ну-ка прекрати сейчас же.
Stop at this moment.
Оля тебя услышит, с ума сойдет.
Olia will go insane if she hears you.
Она и так не спит. На все подряд жалуется.
She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time.
Еще и ты со своими шуточками.
And you joke around like this? Oh, it wasn't blood. Oh, yo. At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment.
Иди сюда, паникер.
Come here, my boy who cried wolf.
Да не стой столбом.
Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. Pills? A golden colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell onto my palm.
Я уже пил сегодня. За
I already took one during breakfast.
Попререкайся мне еще.
Don't talk over me.
Сказала дома сидеть. Нет же.
I told you to stay home,
Был бы отец выпорол.
and you... Dad would have given you a good whipping for that.
Сейчас же выпей, а то ночью не уснешь. Тебе ведь в школу завтра.
Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night. And you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it.
Антон, выпил? Можешь, если захочешь.
Anton, you done? See? You can do it when you try.
Раздевайся. Уснул, что ли?
Take off your coat. Are you asleep?
Нет, мам, просто задумался.
No, Mom. I was just thinking.
Интересно, о чем же?
What about, I wonder?
Так, глупости
It's
всякие.
just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest.
Точно все нормально?
Is everything alright?
У тебя такое лицо было, когда милиционер про окно спросил.
You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window.
Все нормально, мам.
I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh.
Хорошо.
Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to the other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Iago's voices died down. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. So he's taking medication for something, but is it a mental illness? Physical illness? I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's a mental illness because of the reaction that he had when he took it. Possibly schizophrenia. But there's someone hiding here. You see this? The forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness to my eyes. Some sort of delusion. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. He's got some sort of hallucinatory thing going on. So he takes pills for that, I'm going to assume. I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Schizophrenia would cause voices and things like that, but not necessarily the delusion that he was under when he was running away from the dogs. I think paranoia actually does. Paranoia, anxiety, yeah, possibly. Those actually kind of fit the profile a little bit more. But I'm sure they'll reveal it at one point, maybe. All right, but sometimes it would still catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. Who is this? Who is this? One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. All right. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsills and the curtain. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded me of burial sheets.
Оля,
Olia? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dry lips.
Оля, очень смешно.
Yeah, Olia, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains. As if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. Boom, boom, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Ay. This freaking kid, man, I'm telling you. Good suspense, but ineffective.
Да я сразу понял, что это ты.
I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olia's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the world one day and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light woven child.
А я все видела.
I saw everything.
Да ну,
Oh, really?
что ты спрятал?
What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice.
Ничего, просто...
It's nothing, just... Olia ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked,
Ты что-то украл, теперь
You
прячешь?
stole something and hid it there.
Ты вор?
Are you a thief?
Что?
What?
Глупая.
Don't be stupid.
Ничего я не крал.
I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind. That mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest. From the tilted figure standing behind black trees. Olia could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted.
Покажи тогда.
Then show me.
Поклянись, что никому не скажешь.
You swear that you won't tell anyone? Then I'll show you. Olia wore a plodding smile.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched.
Не говори так.
Don't say things like that. Olia nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing with her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olia leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter.
Это...
Is this
Это варежка?
someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw.
Один мальчик потерял. И сам потерялся.
A certain boy lost it and got lost himself.
Теперь понимаешь, как опасно
Now-
гулять в лесу, особенно детям.
You do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right?
Ему, наверное, там очень холодно.
He must be really cold out there.
Его найдут?
Will they find him?
Обязательно.
They will.
Участковый по домам ходит.
The police are going
Всякие
house to
фотографии.
house, showing this photo his photo to everybody. Olia traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window.
А почему он по домам ходит, а не по лесу?
And why are they going to the houses and not the forest?
Боится?
Are they scared? The question caught me off guard.
Милиционеры ничего не боятся.
The police aren't scared of anything.
И лес они прочесали.
They've already scouted the forest. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later? For me. I changed the topic, as if trying to get Oli as far away as possible from the forest thicket.
Если я сам найду пропавшего мальчика, нам
We
можно
may get a
богатого.
reward if I go and find this boy by myself.
Кучу всякого, как в поле чудес.
A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune.
Клево же.
Sounds cool, right? Olia wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her.
А что, если эта сова его утащила?
What if the owl got him?
Ерунда.
Nonsense.
Не может сова поднять человека.
An owl won't be able to lift a human.
Но вот что...
But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain.
Ты в лес не суйся. кажется, он какой-то,
Stay away from the forest. I think it's...
как бы сказать,
How should I put it?
что ли.
It's cursed or something.
Как в сказке?
Just like in a fairy tale.
Нет, скорее, как на той страшной кассете, что родители прячут.
No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Olia shivered and stole a glance at the window.
Я видела, как ты убегал.
I saw you running away.
За тобой кто-то гнался?
Someone was chasing you.
Нет, просто, чтобы мама не волновалась, спешил домой.
No, it's just I was hurrying back home so mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone.
Хорошо тебе.
Oh, you're lucky.
Меня вот мама не пускает даже на крыльцо.
Mom won't even let me go outside.
Как принцесса в башне сижу. Никуда не могу выйти.
I'm like a princess in the tower. I can't go anywhere.
Так и умру тут от скуки.
I'll die from boredom here.
Не придумывай.
You're wrong.
От скуки еще никто не умирал.
No one has ever died of boredom.
У тебя же есть я и мультики.
And-
А мама с папой скоро помирятся.
You have me and your cartoons, and mom and dad will be good to each other soon.
Знаешь, что бы я загадала на следующий день рождения?
You know what I would wish you know what I would wish for on my next birthday?
Чтобы родители тоже в детей превратились. И мы бы все вместе играли, как раньше.
I'd wish for mom and dad to turn into children so we could all go and play together like we used to.
Ага. А если бы они стали размером с жука, то мы бы их в спичечный коробок посадили.
Yeah, and if you make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Olia giggled and tugged at my sleeve.
Тоша, пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue went over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. That's the meds. The meds are doing that.
Вымотался я.
I'm too tired. I don't want to.
Ну пойдем.
Come on.
Мне скучно.
It's so
одной,
boring
а ты
alone
всегда
and-
всё время.
Mom is always busy.
Можно выбрать другой мультик, который ты еще не видел.
We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before.
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть знаю.
I know all of our tapes by heart at this point.
А вот и не все. Ты Питера Пэна не видел.
Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan.
Помнишь, ты уснул на середине?
Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it?
А там потом такое.
And so much happens after that. Let's go, let's go.
Давай попозже.
Maybe a bit later.
Рассказать тебе, чем все закончилось?
Should I tell you how it ends?
Утром расскажешь.
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
Утром не захочу.
I won't tell you tomorrow.
Придумала. А давай в прятки.
Oh, that's a bad idea. I know. Let's play hide and seek.
Нет, Оль.
No, Olia.
Тогда нарисуй мне динозавра.
Then draw me a dino.
Оля, блин.
Olia, please.
Нарисуй.
Draw it, draw it.
Да оставь ты меня в покое.
Ooh, leave me alone already. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Ollie stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olia from crying.
Ладно, уболтала. Давай смотреть
All right.
мультики.
You win.
Долго.
Let's go watch cartoons for a bit.
Уже не хочу.
I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head.
Пойдем.
Let's go.
Питера Пэна посмотрим.
Let's go watch Peter Pan.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless.
Не усну, обещаю.
I promise I won't. These family dynamics are hurting me more than the scares. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're well used to enhance the theme of the game itself. A lot of they're using like real life horror, which is all these things that happen in your family. and then kind of like overlaying the supernatural aspect on top. And that's actually a combination that works out really well a lot of the time, but it has to be done properly. But you're absolutely right. This is like, it's sadder and more painful to watch this than, you know, going through the scares. I'm hoping that they ramp it up a little bit though, because so far it's good, it's interesting, but it is a very slow burn from what I can tell. I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Triceratops. Well, close enough. Olia rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face. Man, I have a really bad feeling that something really bad is gonna happen to her, because they're making her to be this like super likable character, and the only reason why people do that is to enhance the punch when it finally comes and something bad happens to them. So I do not like where this is going. I'll go ask mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand, look for it. Olia disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Okay, so we gotta look for the tape, right? So, turn on. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up, and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming from the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did I catch something? Oh, did I catch some rogue signal? You know, Scabby, you were saying like KGB? That sounds like that just gave me like a super strong KGB feeling. Like they're messing with this family somehow, but we don't know why. It's gonna happen right after you yell at her and don't have time to apologize. Yeah. And so of course that's just gonna make you feel super guilty, and then you're gonna go into a spiral, and no medicine is gonna be able to pull you back from that, and then shit's gonna go south real quick. 100%, yeah. Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olia had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. You know what I think? You know what I think that was? That was their TV set. That was their TV set catching a video signal of maybe the area where they live. And again, that would probably come from something like the KGB. Makes a lot of sense, actually. It makes a lot of sense. Now, I don't know what to do here, because I want to see if I can catch that signal again, but I also have to search for the tape. So do I please my curiosity, or do I please my little sister? I don't know. Let's try to catch it again. Oh, I'm gonna disappoint my sister, but yeah, let's catch it again. I think that may be better for the story at least. Ooh. The picture finally cleared up. That's a cemetery. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing. A voice barely coming through the cacophony. He was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was a pitch black night at the cemetery. In that fateful dark time, little Senia met her fate at the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned across the snow with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown around all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senia's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. Yikes. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in a nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen. Yes, such a fearsome beastie it is, worse than the rising dead. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Oof. And the stink, it's like... The rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. I've never felt anything like that. It was just standing there, yes, right where you stand, boyo, and pierced me with its eyes right in the middle of the day. Was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another beep. Yo, that lady's like hardcore. You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, it'll snatch you up, put you in his bag, and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the devil's wench. And it's definitely true. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of the forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The forest master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it into the VCR without even looking at the cover. I pressed rec, turned the sound up and paid attention to the slipping signal.
Хозяином леса
It's not called the
его
forest
прозвали
master for
просто
nothing.
так. Ему подчиняются все звери, пернатые и лохматые. Они предвестники появления самого чудовища.
All of the animals obey it, be they hairy or feathery, they're all precursors for its appearance.
Если слышите вой вдалеке, то, скорее всего, он знает, где вы живете.
If you hear howls in the distance, then it most likely already knows where you live.
Если порог дома истоптан звериными следами, а за окном караулят птицы, прячьтесь, он уже идет за вами.
Jesus. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching you from the trees, you'd better hide. It's already coming for you.
А если однажды ночью, проснувшись, вы увидите глаза в окне, то скоро,
And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window,
скоро,
soon,
скоро,
then soon,
скоро,
then soon,
скоро.
then soon. Do I just keep clicking?
Скоро,
Then soon what?
скоро.
Screw a what? Oh, Jesus. The TV suddenly went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my ears. I got goosebumps all over my spine. Goosebumps, that's all you got. All right. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape. For a moment, I thought it was stained with saliva. But that was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oops. I recorded it over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Olia's cartoon, but I also put the scrippy stuff over it. I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the squeaky floorboards. Olia appeared in the doorway.
Ты не смотришь без меня?
Oh, sure. Oh, man, we just ruined that. We just ruined that for the poor little girl. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk.
Нет,
No.
я пока кассету ищу.
I was looking for the
А
tape.
ты точно хочешь Питера Пэна смотреть?
You really want to watch Peter Pan?
Хочу, хочу!
I do.
Чай скорее, а то мама скоро сядет свой бразильский сериал смотреть.
Turn it on already. Mom will come watch our Brazilian drama soon. Come on, think, fake detective.
Честно, мне как-то Питер Пэн совсем не понравился.
You know, I didn't like Peter Pan.
Лучше русалочку.
Maybe we should watch Little Mermaid instead.
Русалочку я уже насмотрелась.
I've already seen it so many
А
times.
ты обещал.
And you promised me. Gosh, she's so stubborn.
Придумал. Давай сначала
I know.
пару серий черепашек-ниндзя. Согласна?
Let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first. Deal? Olia frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest.
Если так сильно просишь.
If you want it so much,
Отправишь сгущенку. Порезаться боюсь. Края острые.
can you open the milk can? I'm afraid I'll cut myself with the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped up before my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa, I realized that the can was already open. Olia had tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but my little sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a victorious tone,
Повелся, повелся.
"Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha."
Владычица пульта приказывает смотреть Питера Пэна.
Oh, as a remote master, I command you to watch Peter Pan. Yo, girl, Peter Pan will not work. I also wonder, well, Peter, like the image would be like near the end, right? Well, I guess they have to finish it because that's the only one he hasn't watched fully. Oh, he's in trouble here. I couldn't even open my mouth and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. She'll play it, and then black crosses on unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scraps of the snow, and the insane devil's wench. I'd better tell the truth.
Оля, стой!
Olia, stop.
Я тебе конец кассеты нечаянно стер.
I erased the end of your tape by accident.
Отдай ее мне и возьми любые две мои.
I'll trade it with you for 2 of mine.
Ты чего?
What do you mean?
Надо стереть. Мы с папой всем кассетам зубики пластмассовые выломали.
Oh, interesting. You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad had broken off all those plastic pins with a screwdriver.
Теперь ни на один мой мультфильм ничего записать нельзя.
You can't record anything over my cartoons now. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting the out-of-this-world voice of the narrator. But I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head, heavy as a leaden ball, now rested in my hands. Olia smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over her bread. And then the cartoon started. She forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported to the Neverland, like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there in a land where one never ages, where one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. But now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. It's gonna work. Yeah, it did work, and that's an interesting thing because again, he's hallucinating all this stuff, but it doesn't sound. Oh man, I'm very conflicted right now on what's potentially happening to them. Because this could all be easily a trick that's being played on the kid somehow. But it could also be his own mind. Although he was medicated, he took medicine, so I don't know. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me among the trees, and the narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravines. Like a wind carnivore would track its prey. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Oh shit, here we go. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. KGB mind experiment, like what the CIA did with LSD or whatever. Oh, MK Ultra. It's like this pattern of he witnesses something awful, then he returns to reality, and it's like it never happened. Yeah. But why? Well, actually, it's not only him. The girl is also talking about that owl thing, and that's what the guy was saying on the tape. Once it starts watching you through your window, you're done. Like, you need to hide, right? Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality.
Слушай, скорее, штору задерни.
Tosha, shut the curtains fast.
Зачем?
Why?
Никто же на тебя не смотрит.
No one's watching you.
Уже темно, а когда темнеет, прилетает сова.
It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. See, that's...
Я боюсь.
I'm scared. Oof. I got out of bed fighting my drowsiness and closed the curtains. Close. I did my best not to look outside towards the treetops, towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches scraping the snow.
Тоша, мама думает, что я напридумывала про сову.
Tosha, Mom thinks I made the owl up.
И папа считает, что раз я маленькая, это значит врушка.
And Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small.
А сова есть.
But the owl exists.
Вот честная-пречестная есть.
Honestly, it does.
Ты же мне веришь,
You do believe me, right?
что она там и каждый
That it comes every night, and I swiftly grabbed Olia's hands and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities?
Я тебе верю, слышишь?
Yes, I believe you, alright?
Ты только родителям больше не рассказывай про сову.
Just don't nag our parents about it
У
anymore.
них и так хлопот по горло, они только рассердятся.
They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you.
Ты мне говори, если что случится.
Come and tell me if anything
И в
happens.
окно не смотри.
And don't look out the window.
Но она хочет, чтобы я смотрела.
But it wants me to look.
Перехочет.
Doesn't matter.
Творишь, что ее нет и не было никогда, что она выдумка, как родители говорят.
Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up. Just like mom and dad say.
Ей ждать надоест, она улетит.
It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. I mean, that's kind of a wise advice, but shit, man. Like the kid is taking on so much already just for himself. We follow Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my sister. Olia's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song. The world of Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. Here we go again. Another moon peeked from under the first one, scary and wan, hanging over the taiga forest. The horrific report got recorded right over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked toward Olia. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop at any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Olia's room. So now he's got physical evidence now that the tape is not broken, like they didn't break the pins off. So now we got a tape and a mitten. Excellent. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape alongside the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Good timing, kid.
Довольно баловства.
Enough playing around.
Завтра первый день в школе.
It's your first day of school tomorrow.
Ложись, тебе надо выспаться.
Go to bed. You should sleep properly.
Не хочешь же ты, чтобы...
Why is
тебя
she so
всегда
mean?
беспокоили?
You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corner. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come, after all. The day I feared the most, the first day of school, or the first day of a new school term. Ooh, episode 2, time to play with you. That's, oh man, I think we're gonna have to stop here. The relationship between the parents are obviously very tense. That was episode 1. This is episode 2. I don't know how many more episodes there are, but I kind of don't want to start this one. I want to give it a minute. I want to take my time. So we're going to go ahead and stop for now, and we'll retake the stream on... God, I don't want to wait too long. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to do another one tomorrow to play episode 2 and see where it goes. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We'll do another one tomorrow because I really want to see where this episode goes, and I want to know how much there is. I don't know if maybe 3 episodes. Maybe you go. You're also going to bed. All right, let's all go to bed. Let's all go get some rest. I'm kind of blown away by this game. Like, the story is slow. It's a slow burn, but it moves with like bits and pieces that are super interesting. I'm just like, I am so weirded out by this tale, and it is super interesting. Okay, I can't wait to play more tomorrow. So a weird lobby name tonight in Project Winter with name. Losing Falls, thank you. I do want to see what happens as well. Okay, well, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow as well. I'm gonna start the stream probably around the same time that I did today. We'll see if we can get it. Actually, we'll see if we can get it a little bit earlier. Just because I want to see if we can cover more ground. If there's 1 or 2 episodes left, I also want to have a little bit of time after the stream, or after the game, so that we can talk about it. So we'll be back tomorrow. You're back just in time. You're back just because you wanted me to watch your video. All right. Anyway, I'll take some time. We'll do that now. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll continue with episode 2. Hopefully it will be just as good as episode 1. All right, guys. Thank you. Peace out.